Let's start with the Galveston area that's bringing us the heavy rain. Just in the League City area over the last hour, we've seen a couple of spots that have brought down about 2 inches of rain just in the last hour. These are also electrified storms, so we're seeing quite a bit of lightning out there over the last 10 minutes. 28 lightning strikes, not a big number, but 25 of those strikes are what we call positive strikes, and that means that the lightning is coming from the top of the thunderstorm cell down to the ground, and that means that they have a little bit more strength that a normal lightning strike would have. So if you hear that thunder or if you're near this heavy downpour, just make sure to go inside for a little bit until it passes. Precipitation rate has started to scale down over the last 10 minutes or so. It was up to 2 inches and in excess of that just here in the last 10 to 15 minutes. Right now it's at about an inch of rain per hour. That's still quite a bit of rain, especially when you consider that the area has gotten 2 inches of rain just in the last 30 minutes or so. So at that point, when we start to see 2 inches of rain coming down, that's when the drainage basins can't really take in that moisture, and we start to see a little bit of that spillover effect and the ponding on the roadways and difficulties for travel. So just keep that in mind right now. So Dixon area, you're going to be seeing some of that heavier rain as those cells are pushing through your area. West League City Parkway, like I mentioned, just shy of 2 inches in a couple of areas, especially going from there down to FN 517. And like I mentioned, another spot that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, at least for the next 30 minutes or so. There is a flood advisory there for this quadrant in Brazoria County until 3:15. Because of this cell right there, you could see just in the last few minutes, it's lost some of its intensity. So we should start to wind down on that flood potential. But look at that. Holiday Lakes already accumulated a radar indicated 2 inches of rainfall just in the last hour. Danbury, just a bit over an inch and a half of rain for your area as well. So these little bullseye there don't need any more rain. So we'll just be having to monitor that closely and make sure that we don't see any additional heavy rain expected over the next few minutes. Precip rate right now for Holiday Lakes area, just about 7/10 of an inch of rain per hour. The rainfall rate there too has started to drop, which is some better news, and you can see why. The electricity, the potency of the thunderstorm, we can see is starting to diminish as well. So just 7 strikes over the last 10 minutes, though out of those 6 or 7 strikes, they are positive strikes, so they definitely have a little bit more intensity. Another reminder to just make sure you step inside if you are in that area right now, especially if you are unsheltered. 93 degrees right now at Bush, so a little bit warmer than where we were yesterday. We've seen that cloud cover kind of stay broken apart, and the heat is definitely coupled with some humidity out there. So the low 90s actually feels like the upper 90s in many spots. It's actually felt like the triple digits in a couple of areas this afternoon. Now your potential to see some rain is going to remain as we progress into the late afternoon and early evening hours. We could see an isolated shower until about 7, 8 o'clock, and then those rain chances start to wind down during the overnight hours, picking right back up into tomorrow morning. A similar setup to what we saw today. The sea breeze first sparks up some coastal showers that'll start to build inland once we get that peak afternoon heating. So 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we should start to see a little bit more coverage with those scattered showers, although the rain chances remain at 40%. That is again for tomorrow and into our Sunday. So what you saw today, you can expect to repeat that into this weekend. Temperature wise, we'll be holding steady in the lower 90s. The areas that do get the rain cooled air might max out in the upper 80s, and the areas that don't see that rain, because remember, 60% of us not expecting to see that shower activity for tomorrow, well, you can expect your temperatures to climb up just a little bit more than that. Speaking of climbing up, we are going to bump up the rain chances from 40 to 50% as we transition into next week. And the reason for that, we're just going to be ushering in a little bit more of that tropical moisture. So our atmosphere is going to have more what's called precipitable water. So if we dissect our atmosphere, we see how much moisture potential is there. We're going to be ramping that up as we head into the start of next week. What does the temperature forecast mean for the remainder of the 7 days? We'll have a look at that for you coming up on the 411. We will continue to monitor the flood potential on social media and live on air.